Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. I'm Drew here with Treble Chin Entertainment, and today this is another segment of fun with 5th edition. In this episode, I'm going to address kind of what I feel is kind of underrated class archetype, and that's the Eldritch Knight. For those of you that don't know, because you saw the champion and the battle master and decided, I don't need that other page. The Eldritch Knight is a easy way for you to kind of, like if you're playing as a fighter, you can kind of dip your toe into magic without having to multi-class into something, and you can still continue to level up as a fighter, which honestly is awesome. Why wouldn't you do that? Well, you don't know that many spells. You're limited to only 2 schools of magic that you can cast, and it has its limiting values, which kind of turns a lot of people off towards it. Whenever you could just go and take like a level of wizard and get almost as much spells as you get for like a 11th level fighter. Yikes. And you could take that like immediately. So, but the plus side of it, you still get all your fighter levels. So you don't have to sacrifice things in the fighter tree to get like those spells, which becomes really good whenever you have your 4 attacks and your 3 indomitables and all of your ridiculous nonsense because you're a fighter and you get all the feats and all the attribute increases. So that has it going for the Eldritch Knight, which I really don't get why people don't like it. Especially when you use it, you can actually make one of the most terrifying combinations for basically anything. And that is the Mage Slayer, as I like to call it. Where you kind of specialize in kind of going and geeking the mages, making sure that they can't cast spells, and if they try to, they're going to pay for it. It sort of introduced a different type of tanking, for those that are wanting to use MMO terms.
Yes!
So, to where instead of just like taking and absorbing damage, you actually are preventing damage from happening in the first place. How you do this exactly is you can be a fighter, you could even be like a ranger or a paladin if you want, but I think the Eldritch Knight kind of works for this a little bit more, and we'll get to that in a minute why. But you have 2 feats that make this build, sort of. You have the Mage Slayer feat, which allows you to, whenever somebody within 5 feet of you tries to make an attack, you can use your reaction for an opportunity attack against them. If they're concentrating on a spell and you hit them, they have disadvantage on that. On the concentration check, that is. And then you have advantage on saving throws against spells by creatures within 5 feet of you. So that basically negates almost everything of a mage trying to attack you. Now, where does that come in for the tanking aspect? It comes from feat number 2, which is Sentinel. Which, if you played 4th edition, it's basically the Hunter's Mark, well, like every tank's mark that goes, you shouldn't attack other people, attack me. To where whenever you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, its speed becomes 0, so it can't move, even if it started to move. You can also take that opportunity attack even if they disengage with this. So there's only one way of them trying to get away, and that's teleporting, and that is literally it. But you may be able to still get an attack. I'm not entirely sure about that, because they're still technically moving away. And whenever a creature within 5 feet of you makes an attack against another target, then you get to make an opportunity attack against them. With these 2 feats alone, you have negated, you've negated mages from casting spells against you, effectively, and you've negated them attacking anything else besides you. So anything that they try to do against you or the party immediately becomes mute, which is kind of a crazy idea. Then you add in the Eldritch Knight abilities that you can do, to where, say you, like one of the first level spells that you get as a Eldritch Knight that you can choose from the Elemental Evil book is called Absorb Elements, to where you are able, if you're hit with a spell of elemental types like fire, cold, lightning, acid I think is in there, thunder, what have you, it's basically almost all the types, you can absorb that and add a damage die equal, well, a number of damage die equal to the spell level that you use this on to your next attack that hits, rather. So you can do this, and say like they try to fireball you, and you use, let's say, a second level spell, you use a second level absorb elements. So when that fireball hits you, no big deal. Then you can turn around and hit them with, maybe, say you're using a greatsword. Why not? So you can hit them with 2d6 plus 2d8 plus your modifiers. And they're not going to like that, and they may try to run, and then you get to hit them again. This is where I feel that the fighter, the Eldritch Knight, really excels in beating the Mage Slayer. Because you could be the Paladin and smite the shit out of them. There's always smiting. But with the fighter, you can kind of add that sort of, I hunt mages because I don't like magic, and magic should die sort of mentality. Because with Paladins, you have magic, but it's in the form of your god. But it seems if you try to get like hypocritical, well, you get kind of hypocritical if, say, like you and your wizard start having a philosophical argument over something. If you get that far into RP, that's up to you whether or not you do or not. But fact is, the fighter can really get behind being the guy to run up to people and then just smash them into the ground. If you're wanting to play this character and starting off, since you don't become an Eldritch Knight until like 3rd level, and this build doesn't really pick up until at least 4th when you choose one of those 2 feats, what I like to do is start off as a human and get an extra feat, so you can go ahead and start those. Or I like to go with the what is it called? The Magic Initiate, and choose the wizard to get a couple more cantrips. You get 2 more cantrips, and then a spell of your choice that you can cast once per day, just without using spell slots. And so it gets you 2 more cantrips that you can cast, which can be of any school. So if you want, you can take Prestidigitation, you can take whatever you want. But then you can take Detect Magic. That way you know whether or not they're magic before you decide to screw them over everything that they have. That's probably a good idea. I mean, you could go without Detect Magic, even though you can't get it as an Eldritch Knight. You can take it with this feat, and then you have it to make sure that you don't just go around slaughtering innocent people who happen to be in their pajamas still. But that's up to you. Let me know what you guys think about this build. If you have any other ideas, any other combinations that you can think of, let me know in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe, and give us your feedback. Let us know how we're doing with these videos, so we can output your input and make this channel better. We want you to be a part of this as much as we are. Go and have fun with 5th edition, and go geek the mages.